Once I returned to Kiev, I processed my pictures, and I noticed the negatives were black.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at images that captured raw devastation and tragedy in the moments following a disaster.
Newsreel teams record the arrival, hoping to get some exciting pictures of the airship's landing procedure.
Grenfell Tower fire, London.
You could hear a lot of screaming saying, "Help me, please, please, please."
On June 14th, 2017, onlookers observed in shock as the 24-story Grenfell Tower burst into flame against the night sky. Eyewitnesses and news media captured the terrifying moment as residents waved white cloths from upper floor windows, signaling for help amidst the blazing inferno.
I opened the door. Black smoke came like that to our faces.
Street-level photos revealed rescue efforts underway as firefighters emerged from the smoke, clearly exhausted, with their faces streaked with soot. The inferno claimed the lives of 72 people in what was the deadliest structural fire in the United Kingdom since 1988. The alleged misconduct and failures that contributed to the tragedy led to rallying cries for justice in the years of public inquiry that followed.
Right now, people want answers, and it's absolutely right.
The sinking of MV Sewol. As the ferry listed heavily to one side, orange life rafts floated near the half-submerged vessel. Juxtaposed in that moment's frame are students in bright yellow life jackets, desperately signaling for help through the windows. On shore, distraught parents were seen clutching their cell phones and waiting for any news about the rescue for their trapped children. These images were captured by Coast Guard photographers and media crews when the South Korean ferry MV Sewol capsized off the southwest coast. It was one of the nation's deadliest maritime disasters, claiming 304 lives, most of which were high school students on a field trip. The MV Sewol disaster fueled calls for improved safety standards and accountability. Bhopal gas tragedy.
Almost 40 years ago, this factory in Bhopal, in India, had a leak that released tons of poisonous gas.
Photographer Raghu Rai's most searing image shows the small, lifeless body of a child, partially buried in the mud, her eyes eerily open. She was a victim of the gas leak from the Union Carbide India Limited pesticide plant, in what is known as the Bhopal gas tragedy. The picture is a stark emblem of innocence lost in the chaos of a disaster that killed thousands and injured hundreds of thousands more.
3,000 people had died within the first few hours.
Other photos from Rai and his fellow photographers documented the ensuing desolation of gas-shrouded streets, mass funeral pyres, and overcrowded hospitals, forcing the world to confront the human cost of industrial negligence. These photos stripped away any abstraction and sparked decades-long debates about corporate accountability and environmental justice.
Has the industry learned anything from this tragic loss of life and the horrendous aftermath that followed?
Deepwater Horizon explosion. Imagine an inferno in the middle of the ocean. That was the Deepwater Horizon oil rig when it exploded, killing 11 workers and triggering the largest offshore oil spill in U.S. history.
Scientists are now reporting vast plumes of oil up to 10 miles long under the surface.
As the disaster unfurled, aerial photographs showed the rig consumed by flames and thick black smoke. Nearby, a U.S. Coast Guard vessel sprayed arcs of water in a desperate bid to quell the inferno. Days later, photographs captured haunting images of seabirds browned by crude oil on a Louisiana beach.
But the total spill is so much worse than BP let on.
Today, the Deepwater Horizon explosion is etched in memory as a corporate accident that led to an ecological tragedy.
BP says it's put many millions into a healthcare program and has paid $14 billion in claims by individuals, businesses, and government.
Mumbai terror attacks. November 26, 2008 remains a haunting memory for the people of Mumbai.
Their intent to target Westerners throughout the city in a coordinated terror strike that will result in an orgy of death and destruction.
A terrorist attack involved coordinated assaults in various locations, most famously at the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel and the Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus train station. The terror was forever immortalized by the photos taken by Sebastian D'Souza of the Mumbai Mirror. D'Souza's photograph would show Ajmal Kasab, the lone gunman in the Terminus railway station, striding past lifeless bodies and abandoned luggage. Other images by the press captured the carnage as the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel became engulfed in flames. These photographs transformed a national tragedy into an international incident etched into global memory.
Since then, changes have been made to India's counter-terrorism plans.
Hindenburg disaster. On May 6, 1937, a German passenger ship filled with highly flammable hydrogen gas caught fire and was consumed in flames in a matter of seconds.
Within seconds, the Hindenburg is engulfed in flames.
The 800-foot airship was called the Hindenburg, whose fiery end was immortalized in Sam Shear's famed photograph. Taken moments after the Hindenburg erupted in flames, Shear's image captured the terrified ground crew running towards safety, while others reached helplessly at the doomed Zeppelin. Shere later explained that he took his iconic photograph without even looking through the viewfinder of his camera. Combined with the anguished cry of American journalist Herbert Morrison on the radio, "Oh, the humanity," Shear's photo is among the most enduring visuals of disaster in the early 20th century.
The Hindenburg is still the largest flying machine ever built.
Fukushima nuclear disaster. In March of 2011, a massive earthquake and tsunami struck Japan, crippling the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant.
It was the largest quake ever known in Japan, and one of the 5 largest recorded in the world.
A severe nuclear accident began to unfold, and as workers desperately tried to stabilize the inevitable disaster, Reactor 3's roof was blown apart.
The water level in Reactor Core 1 began to drop rapidly, causing temperature and pressure to rise, culminating in an explosion.
Images flooded in from Kyoto News and other outlets, capturing the moment. The building's twisted steel framing laid exposed, with a pale steam drifting upward. Beyond the plant, aerial images by news agencies would document the devastation of the earthquake and resultant tsunami in a moment where natural disaster met nuclear crisis. Pearl Harbor attack, immediate aftermath. On December 7, 1941, Life magazine photojournalist Robert S. Landry scrambled to document the devastation caused by the Japanese kamikaze campaign at Pearl Harbor. His photographs were some of the first images to come out of the attack. Landry would capture the USS Arizona wreckage after a catastrophic explosion. Many of his photos were subjected to government censorship to protect military and weapons details. His photos of the day which will live in infamy were not published until 2 months after the attack. By then, America's peace had been shattered, and the nation was thrust into World War II. Chernobyl nuclear disaster.
Igor Kostin was a photographer with the news agency Novosti. When a friend and helicopter pilot phones him that morning to offer to fly him over Chernobyl.
When an explosion rocked the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in April 1986, Soviet-Ukrainian photographer Igor Kostin captured the now iconic images of liquidators on the plant's roof.
My hands were shaking. I didn't know what world I was in, and I started snapping photos.
These were firefighters and emergency workers who were shoveling debris by hand. Unbeknownst to them, the debris was radioactive graphite. Kostin's broader body of work spanned more than 5,000 images that documented the aftermath of the reactor's collapse, such as the abandoned city of Pripyat and the ravaged environment. The grainy, overexposed shots were themselves damaged by radiation, distinguished by telltale white streaks on the photos.
If you look close, you can see traces of radiation on the film. I was holding the camera like this, and it was coming up from the ground, like that.
Revealing a world frozen in time, Kostin's photos served as a visual documentation of the unseen dangers of nuclear fallout.
You couldn't feel your teeth up there. Your mouth was full of this lead taste.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Atomic bombing of Hiroshima. Moments after the U.S. dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japanese photographer Yoshito Matsushige wandered through the devastated streets for 10 hours. Injured and nearly blinded by the blast, Yoshito held onto his camera, which had 2 rolls of film. He managed to press the shutter 7 times. 5 of the surviving negatives portray unforgettable images of the aftermath.
It was such an awful scene that I just couldn't press the shutter.
Chief among them is the image from Miyuki Bridge showing horribly burned school children, some with skin hanging in tatters. Other photos depict utter devastation. with buildings lying in ruins and fires glowing on the horizon. The only known images of Hiroshima taken that day. These photos eternally crystallize human suffering during the first atomic bombing in history.
Was it cruel of me to photograph them? Or was it the best thing I could do?
Which of these haunting images impacted you the most? Let us know in the comments.
This is the first picture ever taken of the breach.